I'm Alex. I'm with Cloze. Thanks for joining our EXP CRM of choice session today. I'm going to start off with some slides, then I'm going to go into a live demo. In fact, I'm going to demo on my phone. Everything you can do on your phone, you can also do on your computer with the exact same feature set, feature-rich apps on both sides. So download those apps in the Apple App Store, Google Play Store as you get going with Cloze. As a reminder, put your questions in YouTube chat or in EXP World, and my colleagues are going to answer those questions as I present. Ask as many questions as you'd like. If we have time at the end, we'll take additional questions, but my guess is based on all the previous sessions, we've been hitting them all as we go. So with that, I'm going to get started, go through some slides, and I'm going to get into that demo for you. I'm going to start on my phone, then I'll flip over to the desktop. So if you're not familiar with Cloze, we're an AI-powered sales and marketing platform that includes a CRM, marketing automation, and lead management. We're the standard platform for Sotheby's International Realty, Corcoran, Windermere, and several other brands where sphere selling is really the core of what their agents do. They get their business from repeat clients and referrals. And if you look at all the NAR statistics, it's actually where most of our leads actually come from. So Cloze is very focused on sphere selling. And that's why we're one of the CRM of choice options for EXP. Lofty and Bold Trail are great for businesses that are purely driven on lead gen. And we're great at that too. But nothing compares to Cloze for sphere selling, and I'm going to show you why. Before I get doing that, I'm going to share a little research that we did. Pretty fascinating, actually. We all have databases. We got past CRM, maybe the CRM we're moving from to move to Cloze. We've got spreadsheets, contacts on our phone, in apps, Google, Outlook, lots of places. Tend to have contacts spread everywhere, in fact. But what's pretty fascinating is that when we look at the data, 88% of the people the average agent talks to never make it into their database. That's a huge amount of people that we never formally create a contact for. And these are people that are in our network, but just never get into our tools. We're inherently part of the fabric of our community, right? Every agent will be part of the community in some way. There's local events, there's volunteer work, community events, whatever it might be, sideline of the soccer team, hockey game, baseball, whatever it might be, Little League. All those things create a network of all the people that you could be selling to. And a lot of CRMs really struggle with this. I describe a traditional CRM as an empty box because when you first start off, it's empty and you got to put everything into it. Every contact, first name, last name, email, phone, log all the activities with those contacts, set reminders, just tends to be a lot of work. So at the end of the day, you only get 12% of those people in there. And if you're sphere selling, that makes it really hard because you're only focused on a narrow slice of your network. You have to do a lot of work just to get a little out. We tend to not use our CRM. That's why a lot of people stop using CRM. So nobody really likes busy work. Cloze is very, very different. With Cloze, we're going to discover all those connections for you automatically. So you have 100% of the people you're engaged with in one place. And we're going to do this all automatically for you, by the way. And the way we do it is there's these, what we call electronic breadcrumbs that are out there. As we communicate, Cloze can discover those connections and map them all out. So you have all your relationships mapped across your entire sphere. Those little breadcrumbs are things like you're on a mailing list. You're interacting with people around that soccer team or that Little League team or that group you volunteer with. All these people you communicate with in different forms are part of your sphere. And they can all buy real estate, right? So these are the opportunities that are there for us. We keep track of it for you automatically, so you don't have to do it, and keep it off to the side. We'll keep those people we discover off to the side so they're always there. And then we have AI that will surface them for you automatically at the right moment. So you can go find them when you need them. Cloze's AI is going to surface those relationships as you use the product. The way we do this is when you first come in, we're going to have you connect all the places you communicate with your contacts. So connect your email, connect as many email accounts as you'd like. Gmail, Microsoft, so Outlook 365, iCloud, Yahoo, AOL. If you got an old one of those, connect it. All kinds of services. Connect as many email accounts as you like. My recommendation there is connect the ones that you use for business. But I will say if you have an old one that you used to use for business that you still have active, still connect that. There's a lot of really important data in there because we're going to go back in time as far as we can go and analyze that full communication history. So if you get 20 years worth of data, we're going to crank through 20 years worth of data. And that's really important in real estate because If you help somebody buy or sell 10 years ago, Cloze has got all kinds of AI to help surface those clients of yours you haven't talked to in a long time. One of the very unique things we do with Cloze is we allow you to connect your mobile phone. What I mean by that is you can connect your iPhone or your Android phone, and we're going to automatically track your calls and texts on your real phone number. We're the only ones out there that do this. So that means you don't have to get a new phone number. You don't have to even dial from within Cloze. You can just keep doing what you're doing, texting outside of Cloze, calling from outside of Cloze, and we're going to track that history for you. It's all done securely and privately. Talk more about that as we go. But all that information comes in. And then there's a ton of different apps and services you can connect. We'll talk about all the ones that are part of the EXP ecosystem that you can connect, like Canva, Zenlist, things like that. All these tools are connected, can be connected to Cloze. So you have one place to go for all your contacts, all your communications with them, and all the tools you use all in one place. And we do this completely automatically. Yeah, if we're going to talk about all this information, as I mentioned, we're going to talk about privacy, right? Because there's a lot of information flowing through there. Key thing to know is that Cloze was just designed completely different than CRMs you've probably used in the past, tools you've used in the other past. Every single agent has their own unique database that's completely walled off from all other people using the platform. It's also encrypted. In fact, it's encrypted in a way that even our team can't see any of the information in there. So it's completely secure and private. No one can see your personal content. No one at Cloze, no one at EXP, no one at on your team. If you join a team on Cloze, you start using it with your team. If you do invite your assistant in to use it, and we have ways to do that, you have to explicitly allow them to see types of content. Okay. So everything is completely private and secure. And the reason is we operate all over the world. So we have clients in Europe and abroad, and we have to follow the much stricter privacy rules that exist. Europe has the strongest privacy and data protection laws in the world. Cloze has to follow those. In fact, you have to follow those if you have EU citizen clients in your database. Do we have tools if you have that? If you have EU citizen clients, we can help you manage that. But because of that, you'll see it reflected in our privacy policy, and you'll see it how we operate. Which also applies to states like California and Virginia and a few others that are starting to add these kind of data protections. This is good for everybody. We internally use it. I use it. I've got my text messages connected. I don't want anybody at my company seeing my personal text messages, but they are really important to how AI works. And I'm sure you've heard people talk about AI over the last couple of years as it's completely exploded. The way AI works really well is through lots of information. So all this communication history running through Cloze lets us do some really interesting AI to help you stay on top of your relationships and on top of your entire sphere. If you have any questions about privacy, data protection, any of that, reach out to our team. We're more than happy to answer any of those questions as we go through the presentation. What this also gives you is portability. So I mentioned every database is unique. Nobody likes to talk about leaving their team or leaving EXP, but if you're going to invest in a platform, you want to know if you can take it with you. So the answer is absolutely yes. We see this all the time. We see brokers and agents unplug and then replug in somewhere else. We'll get a request sometimes at the same time in our support from one brokerage saying, hey, I've got an agent leaving, and another one saying, I've got an agent coming inbound. Make sure facilitate this, that kind of thing. So it's pretty common. It's very easy. It's self-service. You can do it on your own, but it's completely portable. So this is your information, not ours. We don't do anything else with it. It's all about helping you and your daily activity. So let's look at some of those activities. The key thing to know here also is you go through things. You don't have to connect your mobile phone right away. You can kind of ease into it. So connect an email account or two, and you can connect your phone and other services as you go. To get the full picture, agents love connecting that other source, connect their phone so they get the calls and texts in there. But even when you do that, we've got controls like don't track my family and friends, or limit what comes in there to just that the call occurred or the text occurred, and don't show any other information. So you got a lot of controls. You'll always have controls in Cloze when it comes to privacy. All right. So how does Cloze use this information? So we get emails, tons of emails, in fact, right? Our email inboxes are just stuffed with messages. One of the things we'll do is we'll look for things that you need to get done. So imagine getting introduced. You get a referral from a client. You get introduced, you start emailing back and forth. The person says, hey, give me a call on Saturday morning. Cloze is going to actually understand that, read it, and remind you on Saturday morning to make sure you make the call. It's going to have already created a contact for you and started to keep track. So it knows who introduced you. It knows the timeline. It's going to derive information from that initial introduction. It's also going to automatically update the contact with any information it finds in an email signature. So in this case, found additional data, name, mobile phone number, all this information. It just automatically updates the contact. So all that busy work you normally have to do is completely eliminated. The only thing you have to do is say, hey, this is a hot buyer or a hot seller, that kind of thing. So we really limit it down to just the key things you might need to do, and Cloze will take care of everything else. Another very popular thing that we do is we analyze that full communication history all the way back in time and understand who you know and who you know well. If you get out of touch, Cloze is going to remind you automatically. So if you don't talk to somebody in their normal pattern that you normally talk to them every couple of weeks, or every couple of days, or every couple of months, whatever it might be, Cloze will pick up on those patterns and just nudge you to reach out. You'll see that right on the Cloze agenda. That's what you see right here. This is what I'm going to show you in a few minutes when I give you a demo. I'll give you a live demo on my phone, then go over the desktop. We've designed this agenda so you can take action right from the device. So instead of having to manually create a task list of all the things you need to do for the day, this is what we do with traditional CRM. We go in there, we try to kind of box it in, and we only have a couple hundred contacts or so. Not that many contacts, because we're constantly filtering and trying to figure out what we last did, and then setting these manual reminders. It's just a lot of work. And then we still have to jump over somewhere else and make the call or send the email or whatever we're doing. With Cloze, all that information is integrated. We create the action plan for the day, and then you can call or email, text, whatever you got to do right from Cloze. So you don't have to jump out. It's going to use your real email and your real phone. Okay. So in this example, we got a nudge. It's been 15 days, and then we can just swipe and reach out. Another thing that we'll do for you is automatically help you stay on pace with automatic goal tracking. If you've ever used the Apple Health app, I'm sure some of you have, it's on your watch. I go on here. And what it does is it analyzes how you exercise, how you move around, how many steps, how many stairs, all that kind of stuff, how far you normally go. And then it sets your rings, right? So it's a set of 3 rings. And then it kind of nudges you if you could do some more steps or extra stairs or whatever it might be to kind of stay on pace for the day, hit your goal. But it's unique to you. It analyzed how you move, and then it sets the goal. We do the exact same thing with our goal tracking, because if you've ever set up some of the traditional goal tracking things, you've got to manually do a ton of work just to get it started. And then you got to manually keep track of everything. That's the last thing we want you doing. So Cloze does all of this automatically. It will analyze your past communication history. So understand how much you typically reach out to your sphere. It'll know how much reactions you get back. Those people are engaging with you. And when you connect sky slope or dot loop, it knows how many sides you have. So it will understand that pattern. And you talk to coaches, it all boils down to this. The more work we do with our sphere, the more we stay in live flow, as it's called, with our sphere, the more engagement we have, that drives sides. And it's a very clear pattern when you go through the analysis. We've done a ton of analysis. I could talk on this one a lot longer, but it really boils down to this. So we do that for you automatically. You get an automatic set of goals. It's tuned to you. It understands when you reach out. So if your big day is on Wednesdays and you don't do much on Monday and Tuesday for outreach, it understands that and won't overreact and over nudge you until Wednesday shows up. It also understands seasonality. So if it's slow in the summer, it knows that, and it's not going to overcorrect. Okay. So dig into that. You can customize it too if you need to, but the core ones are going to work out of the box for you. It's unique to every single person automatically. Another thing that you'll see when you connect SkySlope or dot loop is we're going to set reminders. We're going to set purchase anniversary and sale anniversaries. In fact, we're also going to automatically organize those contacts as closed buyers and sellers. We'll bring in the ones on your side. But what's nice about it is you're going to get that nudge every year to say, hey, it's been a year, reach out, say hello. It gives you an excuse to reach out. You can also set up birthdays, wedding anniversaries, things like that. These can be automated, so you can have Cloze just automatically send them out as an email, but a lot of agents like to take it from here. We remind them on the day of, they see them and reach out and put a little personal note in there. It gives you an extra level of engagement. I will tell you things like these nudges, reminders to stay in touch, reminders about important dates when you send something personal, has a very high engagement, far higher engagement than you'll see from automated marketing materials like a newsletter and things like that, because they think you personally reached out because you did. So it's being on top of your network in these ways really gets a lot of engagement going. Now, what's included? We're going to go through the full platform as much as we can today during the demo. Cloze, think of the CRM as the anchor. That's where all your relationships live. A lot of automation. Do all of the things I'm going to demo to you on your iPhone. So things like those keep in touch reminders and all of that. A lot of AI writing is in there. You can use it for your marketing, things like that. I'm going to run through some demos, some of the basics of the marketing, but we're going to have more classes as we go this summer. One of the features I'll call out here is our Canva integration. This is a feature I think you're going to love. We automate a lot of the work you normally have to do. Canva and EXP have an amazing partnership. Your marketing team has done an amazing job building all kinds of templates. And those templates today, you can go in there and you can modify and you can drag contact information for yourself or listing information, pictures and details about your listings. You can bring that in and create materials. With Cloze, it's a single click to send your listing information from Cloze over to Canva. And it can, in fact, not only develop one piece of material, but it can create many pieces of marketing material all in a single click. I'm going to give you a demo of that today as well. So imagine creating all of the open house materials with a couple of clicks, and it just brings it over to Canva and it's done. Same thing for a new listing, things like that. So I'll show you that. We're really excited about it. Met with the marketing team earlier this week. You're going to see those materials coming up here in the next couple of weeks. So they're about to approve those and you'll see them available in Cloze. We're getting really close, and we're going to have dedicated classes on the Canva integration coming up this summer. We got a lot of time this summer to do a lot of different classes. This is more get you excited, give you a chance to understand what we're all about, and then later we can really dive into other classes. Also includes our lead management capability. This is really helpful if you have a lot of business coming in from leads. One of the challenges in real estate is that we get leads from a lot of places. So we may have our own website, right? And that website generates leads, and we want to get that into Cloze. If you have a website provider you love, great, keep using them. Cloze can extract the lead information out of the lead alerts you get. So all these lead providers send emails saying, here's the lead. We extract that out of the email and we'll create a contact for it. And then from there, you can do all kinds of things. You can start drip campaigns, you can nurture it, you can jump in yourself right away, but it gets all that information in one place. I always describe the inbox as where leads go to die, because by the time we get them, capture them, cut and paste, try to get in our CRM, it's just a lot of work. It never happens. Cloze will do this for you automatically. So if you have a lot of leads, reach out to us. It also allows you to pick any website provider you like, and then the leads will come into Cloze. All right, let's dive in and we'll do a demo here. Okay, so here's Cloze on my iPhone. I'm going to start here, as I said, and we'll go over to the desktop. So at the top, there's that goal tracking. So you can see it's nudging me to do a little more today, 5 more to go today for my outreach and reactions, but I'm ahead of pace on my side. So that's great. A little more activity and I stay on pace. So it understands exactly how I work, makes it really easy to do. In fact, with this, you can even swipe and you can look at the details if you want to see how many weeks you're hitting your goals, things like that. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the keep in touch area just to give you a feel for a few things here. So you can see I've got 3 people Cloze's surface for me, recommending I reach out to. So I got David, last met 21 days ago. So precisely understands that we met. So there was a meeting in my calendar, met with him. Cloze understands that and is now reminding me because there's been no activity in between. Julia was a call. Gina, there was a text 41 days ago. So you can see different patterns for different people, but as I communicate, Cloze is keeping track. So it's very precise. It's not going to remind me on an arbitrary day. It's been 2 weeks. A lot of systems do that. But you talked to Gina a few times in between or something like that. Well, that's not how we operate. This is based on your real data, so it only nudges you if you're not in touch. Makes sense, right? So if I swipe on Gina here, there's a few options. Again, this allows you to just take action right here. So instead of having a separate to-do list, I can release on call. I can just do the work. And then tap on the number. I can just dial her right from here. Now, if I went over the phone app for whatever reason and just rifled through that and dialed Gina, it's still going to get tracked in Cloze. I'm just showing you how easy it is to to swipe and do that. Now you can also email Gina. Okay. So here's an email that we brought up with a built-in template. When you send an email from Cloze, you're going to be sending it through your real email. So sending it through your Gmail, your 365 account, iCloud, Yahoo, whatever you got connected, whatever you use for business that you have connected, it's going to send out through that. So if I push send, I'm going to see this in my sent folder outside of Cloze. When Gina receives it, it looks like a regular email because it is a regular email. No different than if you went over to the Gmail app and typed up an email and sent it off. Okay. The only difference is we layer things on, like your built-in signature, built-in templates like this one, and a lot of other features on top. When you first get going, we're going to prompt you to set up your signature. We've also worked with the marketing team to get some templates in there. You'll see others coming as well. But if you need assistance getting your signature set up, reach out to our team. They're more than happy to help. So this is a built-in template. AJ and I haven't talked in a while, that kind of thing. We have a feature called our Ghostwriter, which is our built-in ChatGPT-like capability. Call it Ghostwriter. If you tap on that, you can see in the lower corner there's a light bulb. If you click on that, it brings up the Ghostwriter. So I'm going to have it rewrite the email, and I can pick, I'm going to say authenticity. So it's going to rewrite and just give me a different template. So it just wrote a different version of it, easy. And then now I'm going to actually have it do a new subject for me. So Ghostwriter subject, just checking in, hope you're doing well, easy. So now it took that base template and rewrote it, gave me a little different spin on it, and I'm good to go. I could send this off. Now, before I do that, let's look at a few more features. Upper right corner, there's a drop down next to the send button. A few things in here. You can schedule it. So if I was doing email late at night and I wanted it to go out tomorrow, I could do that. I could pick any time I want and, whatever I like. So now it's scheduled to go tomorrow morning at 8:15 if I wanted to do that. I can set a reminder. So just keep myself on track, make sure nothing slips. So if I send this out and then Gina doesn't reply, Cloze can remind me next week. So now if she doesn't reply, I'll get a reminder next week. If she does, then I won't. And then that bell icon right here, that's probably our most popular email feature. That's email open and link click tracking. The nice thing about that is when Gina opens it, I'm going to get a notification that she opened it. Or if she clicked on any link in there, I'm going to get a notification. You've probably seen this in other email marketing tools where you're sending your newsletter, things like that. We just apply it to your real email. This is one of those features that's a little addictive because once you use it a few times and you see all those notifications, you want to do more of it. So I encourage you to send a few emails from Cloze. You'll start to see how that works. It's very, very handy as you go. Okay. You can see down here, I've got a few open examples that came in earlier today. So one from Peter, Rebecca, different emails have come in. So just keep an eye out for those if you send emails through Cloze. The idea is to work through your list. You can just kind of go through them. If you want to skip, you can skip too. Or if you never want to get a reminder again, you can also mute them. That's fine too. You're going to see a couple of different types of reminders too. So these are kind of short-term people you're engaged with. You're also going to see some that pop in, maximum of a couple a day, that might say you haven't talked in 3 years. Keep an eye out for those because those are people you once knew really, really well. You haven't talked to in many years. Those tend to be clients in real estate. It tends to be people that you did help buy or sell. You worked intensively and then the relationship kind of faded. You forgot. It all happens to all of us. We get stories all the time. In fact, people coming into Cloze the first time saying, I don't know how you figured this out, but you surfaced this person that I used to work with and they were ready to buy. Those are stories that we get all the time. We get, frankly, skeptical people, right? Totally get it. But keep an eye out because you will see some of those. All right, so going down a little further, purchase anniversary, real estate review, and birthday. If you do connect SkySlope, and you can do that anytime you want, we're going to set those purchase anniversaries and sale anniversaries for you automatically. Same thing with .loop. If you swipe on Michael here, slightly different template. It's been a year, that kind of thing. Love to catch up. You can also call. So you get the idea here. These are all simple swiping actions. Real estate review, I can do the same. Birthday. Okay. Go down a little further. You can see I've got some meetings in my calendar. So those are going to come in automatically from my calendar. So you're going to see any meetings you have. You can also reconfirm any meeting where you haven't talked to the person in a while. So I've got a few of those. So I can swipe to reconfirm and say, hi, Jennifer, I wanted to confirm our showing tomorrow at 2. Great. All right, let's look at this important message. So Cloze flagged this important message for me. This came in earlier today and came in around 7. And I've got a reminder now for 6 p.m. this evening. So there it is. Please send me anything that fits the bill this evening. So Dave here was asking for something from me for this evening. So Cloze caught it and is now going to remind me this evening. So even if I'm out all day, I'm not paying attention, missed it in my inbox, Cloze is watching, acting as that personal assistant is going to remind me automatically. The bottom, you're going to see these, as your day unfolds, you're going to see your meetings and calls at the bottom. So it gives you an opportunity to just follow up, add notes, things like that. So think of it as your end of day wrap up kind of checklist, that kind of thing. Part of your routine. So you can swipe and add notes, easy to do. You can also follow up. Thanks for your time today. So just kind of like subtle best practices. Cloze is coaching you as you go. You don't have to do it for everybody. You can clear them when you're done. You can clear all of them if you want. But a lot of people like to get in their routine. Top agents that I know, they have a routine. The entire agenda is designed to just get everything for you together you need to do, so you don't have to go hunting for it in other places. One thing to do, work through it. When I talk to a lot of coaches, they're really focused on you doing the outbound, but they don't want you to spend tons of time managing your CRM. So we've eliminated a lot of that traditional work. So you can invest 15, 20 minutes, maybe it's longer if you connect with somebody, but you don't have to spend hours in your CRM trying to figure out what to do. The agenda is designed to provide that automatic plan for you. If you stay on agenda, you don't have to go rifling through it because the most important people are going to keep showing up and you'll be in good shape. So I'm coming back to the top here. So I got a new lead here from Ellen. I'm going to tap on her. One of the things I mentioned at the beginning there was that we have our lead capabilities. And so what's nice about that is any lead alert you get can be automatically pulled into Cloze. So this example I'm showing you here is very simple because we're extracting her name, her email address, her phone number, where it came from. So website lead, we're setting that she's a warm buyer. I can tap accept, it creates the contact and I can jump on the phone. When one of these hits my inbox, I'm going to get an alert as soon as it hits, which is also really handy because I can be very fast in my follow-up. And now we all know the faster we are, the more likely we are to connect and convert that lead. So when it comes to lead follow-up, if you have lots of leads coming in, or even a few, even just your website, reach out to our team. We're happy to help get this going for you. We do this, and we've done this for lots and lots of people, obviously, and lots of different lead sources, so it's easy to set up. This is a simple example because you're hitting the accept button. We can also set it up for you and guide you to set it up so that you just auto accept these. And then that can do things like start a drip campaign. So it could send an automatic email. Maybe it's an email with your booking link or your phone number, whatever it might be, so they can quickly follow up with you. You can jump on it. And that could start a whole nurture campaign. So you can get pretty far. If you're part of a team, talk a little bit more teams here in a moment, but if you're on a team, you can even route the lead in all kinds of different ways. So lots of options there when it comes to teams and lots of options when it comes to managing your leads in one place. All right, let's dive into Gina here. I'm going to tap on her. This is a very typical contact profile. You can see a timeline here of all my texts and calls. This just goes infinitely back in time. If you connect an app like ZenList, which is EXP Access, you're going to see that activity in here too. So other apps will be in this timeline to give you one place to see alongside of your calls and texts and emails and other activity. You'll see the activity coming in from those other apps. So you might see DocuSign or something like that, or a signing document from SkySlope, activity from ZenList. All that activity can come into Cloze and be in the timeline. If you tap on the funnel, you can filter it in lots of ways if you need to, but otherwise you can just scroll and find it. You can also tap to expand anything here. So here's an email and reply. So reply to the email if you need to, that kind of thing. Okay. Now moving across, so I'm in the timeline view. We start you there. If you tap on notes, you'll see any notes you have for the contact. Same thing, you can expand those if you want. So as you save notes, you're going to see them in one place. Files, this is going to come in from a variety of different places. Google Drive, Dropbox, OneDrive, all supported, DocuSign, any place that files are being exchanged and you have an account connected, you'll see that in here. You'll also see it for any attachments. So if you're looking for a document, it was an attachment, you can't find it, look in here. You're going to find it that way. For things like Google, we'll even just search by the name and automatically link it. So folders and names are ways that we link here. So instead of having to upload into the CRM and store stuff in yet another place, you can just keep using the places you're already storing documents related to your clients, and then we link to them. If I tap on any of these, we're not actually bringing the documents in. It's like a shortcut. We'll just display it. If I look under to do, I'm going to see all the to-dos I have either due today, past due, coming up, or even some due. So you can see I've got real estate review, purchase anniversary, birthdays, those things coming up. Now, if we tap on about, this tells me a few things. So at the top, this is going to tell me about the journey I'm on with Gina. So if you look, you can see warm, hot, in contract, closed, and lost. We call those stages. So that's the journey. So she went from warm to hot. So she's a hot buyer. You can see buyer right below. If I tap on that, that's where I can organize seller, renter, that kind of thing. Standard kind of options. You can customize and add others if you'd like. Down a little further, any of these sections you see here can be expanded. So if I want to see contact info, I can see that here. Contact info, you can also see if you want to take action across the bottom there. So if I wanted to call, I just tap on the phone icon. You can see that there, saying call, text, that kind of thing. At a glance, these are simple notes. You can see I just put some simple notes in there to jog my memory in case I forget. Details. If I expand that, this is where I can link contacts to this profile, which is very handy. So Monty here referred Gina to me. So it's helpful to know who referred a client in. So I do recommend using that one. Spouse and children, also helpful. If I tap on Max there, her partner, it brings me over to him. So instead of having one contact with everybody in it, you have separate contacts. And this is helpful because you're going to engage with the other people in that partnership, right? And you're going to want to engage with them. Children also can be linked if you want. A lot of people set them up just for the birthday reminders, or they're older kids and maybe you get an opportunity to sell them. Lead tracking, also helpful, so you can see referral. And then those anniversaries there, I've got a birthday, wedding anniversary, real estate review. These are all just simple, tap on them. And these are recurring. So if you don't know the year, you can just set the date and we remind you every single year. Okay. Now along the bottom, as I mentioned, you can do things like add a quick note if I want to. Dial, all the kind of typical stuff you'd expect. If I tap on the map icon there, I can go right over to Google Maps or Apple Maps, whatever I've set up. I can also log postal activity if I want to do that. Okay. Now along the bottom here, you can see I'm on agenda, then there's inbox, people, properties. I'm going to show you the same functionality over on the desktop. Your properties, we've integrated with EXP's listing feed. So all of your properties are going to come into Cloze automatically and be on the property section. Okay, let's dive into the desktop. What you're going to find is it looks exactly the same as on the iPhone. Same functionality, no difference at all. We just have more space. If you're using Cloze on your iPad or tablet, you're going to see a very similar layout because we have that extra room over the right. So the way to use this and way to think about it is if I click on anything over there, I've got this whole preview panel on the right. So I can kind of quickly move through my agenda and then look at things on the right. You can do the same swiping action. So if you're on a PC that's got a swipe touch screen, you can do that there too. Or you'll see these rollovers. So I could dial, or if I click on the arrow, that means there's a template there for me. There's that same exact template we looked at before. And then lower right, there's that ghostwriter. So if I wanted to rewrite it for authenticity, it would rewrite it. And I could do the same thing for the subject. And it just wrote a new subject for me. So very quick, easy way to rewrite things. And then here's that upper right, all those different send options. There's the email open tracking, link click tracking that's very popular, I mentioned earlier. So same functionality, no difference at all. Okay. If you go under today, you can look at what's coming up, that kind of thing. So you can flip around different views. Inbox right here. This is inbox, send and receive email just like you would on Outlook or Gmail, same exact thing. The focus view is what I recommend because it removes all the clutter of our bulk mail. So that's all the social updates, newsletters, that kind of stuff. People, this is where all your contacts are going to show up. So when you first come into Cloze, one of the nice things is all those contacts are going to be there automatically for you. So anything that was in your Google contacts, they're going to come in automatically. So if you've connected multiple accounts, we're going to handle deduplication, merging, all that activity for you automatically. Okay. So I like to, there's a lot of different views here that you can organize your contacts. If you click here, what you'll see is there's some different types of views. I like the table view. You can, Kanban's nice too, because you can drag things across. That can be helpful. Table view is nice and compact, so I can see a lot of things on my screen all at once. I can also dial or text or email right from the view. So by doing that, I get a good opportunity to see a lot of information in one place. If I tap on columns, I can adjust what columns are there. So I could add other items, and you can kind of scroll to the right there. And another thing for you to explore as you go through are all the different sort options. Because we're connected to your email, meetings, calls, and texts, Cloze is very precise in communication history tracking. We can use that information to give you lots of sorting orders that are very unique. Typical CRMs is mostly alphabetical, right? Which, if you think of alphabetical, is not the most useful thing. So our default is best relationship. Who do you know best? So the people you're going to see at the top are the people you know best. So the people you're interacting with the most. But there's some other really neat ones you can try. First met. So show me the people I just met, or the people I just interacted with, or they just reached out to me. They engaged with me. Then if you go down, things like birthdays, you can do the first last sorting. Not my favorite, obviously. And then the organizing ones are also really helpful. So when was the contact created? Really helpful. So show me the ones that were just created, or new contacts that I've never talked to through my email, calls, text, meetings, or contacts to classify. These are ones our AI is recommending you classify. So a lot of good options there for you to explore as you go. Power features under the funnel for filtering and that kind of thing. You can create audiences, or they're the exact same thing. If you've ever used Smart List, same exact functionality there. You'll see those audiences under here as you create them. Discovered people. These are all the contacts that Cloze found through your relationship. So you're that other 88% that I was talking about. You're going to find them under there. They're tucked off to the side. You can organize them if you want, but it's a good place to poke around. If you're looking for a contact you just engage with and you want to organize them, you'll find them there. Okay. If I click on Gina, I can see the same view we were looking at before. All the same information with that timeline that just scrolls all the way to the end. Okay. All right. So one of the things, if I look at Gina here, I'll go back to her for a sec, you can see these are called tags. So I talked to you about the journey on the right. Tags are another way that kind of cut across those relationships, because eventually she's going to be closed. She'll be all done. Or maybe she'll be a seller at some point, but the tags are still helpful for finding her. I like tags for things like holiday card lists, but I also like them for organizing across common traits. So she's into the food scene, so I add a tag called foodie. I also send her a gift. She's on my holiday card list and she gets my newsletter. So I use tags for that kind of thing. Let's look at how you can use the tag. So I'm going to put a hashtag symbol in there. That's how we tell Cloze it's a tag. Then I'm going to start typing holiday card and select that. So now the people I'm looking at all have holiday card as one of their tags. You can see that in this column over here. So if I select that, I've now selected 101 people. Organizing is great, but you want to use that information to do other things. One of our goals with Cloze is to help you scale in a very authentic way. Reach out to lots of people in a one-to-one personal way. So this tip you could use coming up here. I'm going to click on the check mark here and I'm going to select mail merge to. Now what it did is it just took 101 people and put them in the to line. But notice they're kind of grayed out, and that's to give you a little tip here. And you're going to see it here too, where it says, hi, Bob, Georgina. It's flipping through these names. Each person here is going to get their own copy of this email when I push send. So I got 101 people, 101 emails are going to zip out of my Gmail account. I'm going to see 101 emails in my sent folder. So let's look at a real example here. 4th of July is coming up. Instead of sending that marketing material that we can do all those nice designs too, but they look generic and they know that a lot of people got that happy 4th of July. In this case, we're going to do the same kind of thing, but we're going to do it as if I typed up 101 personal emails and sent them out, but I'm going to do it in one action. So I'm going to click on the light bulb, and then this is our ghostwriter, if you remember that. So we've got some examples there, but I'm going to select other topic. I'm going to put a custom topic in. So I'm going to say, wish a client a happy 4th of July. Okay, so that's my custom topic. And then there's some other things here. So if you've ever used ChatGPT, you type in what you want. That's what we're doing. But then we're adding a couple extra things here. So it's going to be authentic. You can kind of peruse the options there. You can even write it in different languages. Extra context. This feature is definitely one to explore. One of the nice ones you can add is your own bio. So information about you. A lot of agents will also add information about their brokerage or their team. And then the ghostwriter can weave that content in, which is pretty cool. All right, I'm going to hit start writing. So now it just wrote me happy 4th of July, wishing you a joyful 4th of July. Great. Looks good. If I don't like it, I can hit rewrite and it'll just do it again. So now I've written my email. It only took a couple of seconds. I've got a personal email. It's going to go out to 101 people. Cool. If I send that out, each person's going to think I just wrote it to them individually. They won't know. It's not a BCC. It's just an individual email. Makes it a very nice way to engage. And I will tell you, we've run the analysis of this. There is a 200x difference in engagement between this kind of email versus one that's a generic marketing email that says happy 4th of July with fireworks going off. Big difference, because they're like, okay, you took the time to write me an email. I'm going to say hi. I'll respond back. I'll engage with you. Appreciate that. Now, if you look under that drop down again, here's another tip. I'm going to say add recipients. So remember when I was showing you Gina's profile and we had Max on there, the spouse? I'm going to click spouse and say add to the to line. Now, what you're going to see here in the hi is you're going to see some names go by with multiple people. What Cloze is doing is now including the spouse in there. So there's Ted and Elaine just went by. If we click here, I can show you some other examples. This is the last level here. You can even customize per person. So if we go to, there's Gina and Max. So we've got Gina and Max. Only the two of them are going to see this email. And there's hi, Gina and Max. And I can put in whatever I want. So I could type in, how's the personalize it just for them. So they're the only ones that are going to receive that. Now, I'm probably not going to do that for 101 contacts, but if there's some key relationships, and the most important relationships will be at the top, you could type in a quick little note. That's pretty personal. Now you're sending it to a lot of people all at once. Really good way to do it. So simple example of reaching out to a lot of people, single click, makes life really easy. Okay. All right, let's go look at that Canva example because I want to show you that next. So if you click on properties, I'm going to pick a property here. So imagine this listing came in from the EXP feed. So you're in your account, you got this listing, 1044 West Hill, Bear Island. It comes in. I can create my Canva materials right from here. So if I click on the more button, you're going to see a Canva icon, send to Canva. I'm going to click on that. And then what you see here are what are called template packs. I can look for a specific template. So I could pick one template or I could do a whole pack. I'm going to pick this EXP listing. That's 9 templates that Cloze is going to fill with all the information that we have for this property. So in fact, I'll X out and just show you. So we've got all these photos, right? The property, very nice looking property, beds, baths, square feet, all this information, features, price point, very nice property. All this information, listing description is going to be able to be sent over to Canva. So click on send to Canva. I'm going to pick my pack. And then you can see the property is there and there's fake me. I'm the agent. So it's not what I look like. And then we're going to create all these templates. So I'm going to hit create and then it's creating the design. So in a second, you're going to see it go over to Canva and then it's going to take all those pictures, the price, the description, all that information is going to pop into Canva and create all these templates instantly for me. So now you can see it just created all of them. And that includes some really nice ones that your marketing team has created. So I got a whole website for this property built on the fly. All I got to do is publish the website. And I just built that 2 seconds. Pretty sweet. Same thing with full video. So here's a video that's built out story on the fly and built. So social media ads, posts, website, flyers, all that can be just done a couple of clicks. It's a really cool feature. Your marketing team's really excited. As you can see, I'm excited about it. We're going to have this live for you in July. So when the whole program launches, you're going to have these types of templates. Our plan is to have listing packs and open house packs and a few other things for you over time. Anything you do in Canva also syncs over to Cloze. So if I'm in the library here, you'll see a section called Canva once you connect it. And then anything I have in Canva is all right there for me. So I can use this material in my designs inside of Cloze. So anything you create or any template you use are going to be coming over right from Canva, and you can use them in your marketing materials. So pretty cool. Some of these we're not showing the preview because they're animated, but you get the idea. So pretty neat. Okay, so speaking of marketing, let's go look at a few things here in the last 15 minutes or so that we have. Within the library, this is where you can create a variety of different types of content. If I click on the plus button, you can see you can create just a simple personal email. So that's just text style email. You can create marketing emails. You can see some examples in the background. Call scripts, those can be helpful if you're on a team. Text message templates, campaigns, lots of things you can do here. Okay. Let's start off by using our ghostwriter. So that ghostwriter we talked about earlier, rewriting something. You can also use the ghostwriter to create a full newsletter or even a full drip campaign. So I'm going to say drip campaign. And then you can see just like we did before, but now we're actually telling it, what do I want the campaign to do? Not just what I want the email content to do, but now I want a campaign that's not going to only create the campaign, but also create a bunch of newsletters for me. So just to save time, I'm going to pick one of these pre-built ones. And we're going to say, educate home sellers on how to increase the value of their home. I can tweak it. This is just an example, but just to get us moving here. Newsletter and articles, so that's the drip style. You can pick short personal emails, long personal emails, article preference, a couple of options here, more recent versus best match. More recent is helpful if you want to write a newsletter that's about some sporting event that is happening this weekend, right? So if you want to write about NBA finals, you'd want to select most recent because it's going to pick all the articles from right now. Or if you've got some road race or something like that, whatever it might be, you do that. Tone, language. We talked about additional context, so I could add stuff about my bio, my brokerage, my team. And then number of drips, how much time, so a fixed amount of time. I'm going to say 4 newsletters. I'm going to wait 2 weeks between each of them. But you could switch it to a month, whatever makes sense. And then start writing. So what it's doing here is it's taking that goal. It's going to craft up what each of the newsletters is going to look like. Then when I hit create content, it's going to go find images. It's going to find the articles and then generate a summary for me. And I hit create campaign and it just created that campaign. So you can see it's got 4 emails. You'll see them down here. Hero, images, summary. And you can see each one of these has got a full newsletter in it. And I can modify this if I want. But the goal here is keep it super simple, walk through it, easy. I could modify and change any of this if I need to. But out of the gate, you may not know how to use a full campaign designer, but let the AI do it for you. So really quite handy way to do it. Now, another thing you can do, I'm just going to pick a random one here, is if I hit edit, as I mentioned earlier, anything that's from Canva can be dragged in. So if I wanted to pull in an image from Canva, just say email I got this one design. I just knew where it was. But anything I design in Canva, as long as I know the name of it, I could search for it. I could just scroll the list. I can import that image that I designed in Canva. I can bring right into Cloze. So I just brought this, just listed in and add it. Really simple. Okay. So easy to do that kind of thing. You can build, you can add, we call blocks, makes it easy. So if you want to assemble content, we have things that are called blocks. And the nice thing about it is you can design one of these blocks for your team or for yourself once, and then you can reuse them over and over again. So here's a, a recruiting one that's why work with Wellesley Realty, or it's actually just a marketing one for the brokerage. So why work with this, fictional brokerage, right? So I might use that in every single email. So rather than recreating it every time, we have blocks and I can just drag it in. So any of these can be added, so I can quickly assemble. So I wrote all this other content earlier, and then I just dragged in the other blocks, which makes it really easy. So when it comes to building content, you can do it very quickly with Cloze. The other thing you're going to see coming in soon, we're working with your team, are these things called blueprints. So we'll have some nice EXP styled ones that you can pull in that are like kind of pre-assembled, but then you can drag them in and just type over whatever you want. So instead of having to do all the formatting yourself, they're just EXP style and you pull them in. They can be a variety of things. So you can see I've got other styles here. So this makes designing really quickly. So you just put your headline, your text, upload your image. We even have a built-in stock. So if you wanted to put in, here, we'll take those. There you go. So we pulled that in, and you can do things like adjust the column width, things like that, however you like. So we make it very easy to design stuff. Yeah. All right. The last thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to select this newsletter. This is only really applies if you work in multiple languages. But if you do, we've got some great features that allow you to translate the content you've created. So if you create a whole newsletter and you want to support multiple languages, you can do that in Cloze. So a single template can house multiple languages. And the way we're able to do that is Cloze has AI that will analyze your communications between you and your clients. So if you're speaking English to one client, it will note that. If you're speaking French to another, it will note that. Or if you're speaking Italian to yet another, or Spanish, or whatever language, it's going to keep track and understand that and know, and it will set the language inside their profile. So if I was to create a template that has English and French, so if you think of parts of the world or parts of the United States or wherever you operate, if you operate multiple languages, great, you can support that inside your marketing materials with Cloze. So if we go to the very bottom, you'll see an option where I can translate. I'm going to pick French Canadian. So the Canadian version of French. And it just translated all of that. You're going to see these FRCA, and then you'll see EN for English. And so I'll know which parts of the template have been translated. So you can see this has been translated here. I can do some cleanup, whatever I need to do. But when I send this off, if I've been communicating with somebody in French, they're going to automatically get the French version. If I am communicating with somebody in English, they'll automatically get the English version. So may not apply to everybody, but can be very helpful if we've got anybody who's working in multiple languages. As I mentioned earlier, we do operate all over the world. Got brokerages in Europe. A lot of different languages are spoken, so you need to support multiple languages. All right. I'm going to go back to do a few slides in the last 7 minutes, but feel free to ask those questions to our team. Here's a common question. Can you work as a team inside of Cloze? And the answer is absolutely yes. We're going to have you get set up on your own, and then you can form a team. We've got some guides that'll walk you through it, and I'm sure we'll do some classes this summer. But one of the nice things about our ability to automatically track communications, so track those calls, those emails, those texts, is that those communications can be utilized as a team. So it gives you the ability to share those communications with your team members. This isn't automatic, but it is something you can enable for any contact or how you operate as a team. It's more of a personal preference, how you want to operate. Internally at Cloze, we use Cloze as our tool, and it's really helpful to share and stay coordinated. So if multiple people are working with the same person, we can see emails and calls and texts and things like that. So we know who said what last. We're not stepping on each other's toes. We're not repeating ourselves. So you can see all of that in there. Yeah, lots of privacy controls on all of that, because we completely understand that you don't necessarily want to share every single thing, nor do you want to share every single contact. So a lot of rules and controls will protect information from being not shared intentionally. We also have a summary at the top, so you can quickly catch up on a contact. If you're a manager or something like that, a team lead, you want to see what's happening, the AI will summarize it for you. But the key thing to know here is nothing is going to be shared unless you explicitly take that action. So that goes to contacts. There's no team situation, or at least rarely a team situation, where every single contact you have, you want to share with all your team members. It's usually a subset. So it's specific leads, specific clients you're working with, you're collaborating, and you do want to share it. We do have a middle ground when it comes to sharing content. We call that a redaction mode. In that mode, you're not sharing the full body of a text or the full body of an email. You're just simply saying, I communicated with that person. So the other team member knows you talked to them, but they don't have full access. So you can control that, ease into it. A lot of people start there. Another important note here is, even if you're not in Cloze, but your account's set up, you're still going to see emails and meetings and calls and texts syncing in. So it's all there automatically. Okay. If you have multiple people working a list, we have call coordination, contact coordination. So you'll see a little indicator there of another team member working that account, so nobody accidentally starts to dial the same one. We have shifts. Those shifts are really helpful when you're routing leads. So you route leads to somebody who's on duty. If they're not on duty, they say no, or they have their shift automatically end at a certain time. So they're available to take calls and get leads routed and that kind of thing. Lots of analytics that you can use to track. You can see who's following up, things like that, compare team members, etc. When you're operating as a team, leads tend to be pretty important, because you want to be tracking all the leads, all the different sources. So it's not just your sphere and sphere-based leads that you're working. It's all the other places your leads can come from. Cloze will bring all of these together. Again, emphasizing you can use whatever website you want. We've got specific integrations with companies like Union Street, Delta Media, lots of others that we're connected to. Those are integrated. Luxury Presence is coming soon, but you've got other options there that we're bringing in. If we're doing it through email, it doesn't matter what website provider you have. So it could be just a regular WordPress site that you have, and we can capture those leads. We have an editor that allows you to extract the information. You can do this yourself. It's all built in, but you can also reach out to our team and we'll help set it up for you. Now, when it comes to routing, that's usually a big topic with teams. So who gets the leads and when? Traditional ones like round robins, kind of an even distribution workload, making sure that some agents don't get overloaded. So you can do things like that. Jump ball is a first to claim kind of mode where it just pops up. First person to tap on the alert gets it. Lead pawns are popular. And then there's lots of filters you can set up for things like lead source or specialty or zip code, that kind of stuff. You can also claw back leads if an agent is not following up on your team. The way you know that is through that automatic tracking of the calls and texts too. So it gives you a lot more intelligence as to what's happening. So when it comes to connecting your website, top level one, any leads that come in through email can track, and then you can do all the routing and everything we talked about. The middle one there, faves and saves, that will come in through a direct integration with us. And then for regardless of what you pick, to have your clients keep using your website, using the IDX feed, setting them up on listing alerts. But I will come back to Access, so your Zenlist app. That's a great way to engage with clients. So use that, and then all that information feeds into Cloze because it's a co-browsing capability. So messages, what they've saved, what they want to see, all that just comes right into Cloze. Makes it very handy. Now, what's included? Cloze Business Platinum. If you've been checking out our website, you'll see that in our pricing page. Team support, so all the team functionality is included. No additional charges there for any of this. The lead management capabilities, multilingual marketing, so the translation that I mentioned, that deep Canva enterprise integration, so you can connect Cloze to Canva. Take advantage of all those great templates. Again, that's coming very soon. And then all those other integrations we have. So we have hundreds of integrations that are deeply integrated with Cloze. Of course, we've got the full stack of the things that you have through EXP. So Canva, SkySlope, Slack, Loop, Zenlist. We've got the dial safe do not contact set up for you. And then those listings will come in automatically. That's helpful for just cracking the sellers and all the activities in one place, but also for that Canva integration. Sampling of some of the ones that we've got here. But again, if you want a full list, go to our website. From reiterating on the websites, you can see on the right, Placer's a good integration, great website provider, but also things like Union Street and Delta Media Group are other options for you. And then Luxury Presence is coming very soon. Those are direct integrations, but again, lead capture, you can grab anything. Last couple of minutes here. If you're migrating for another CRM and preparing to move to Cloze, one thing you should be aware of is when you first get in there, you're going to see a getting started area. And we're going to have already brought in your contacts from Google and 365, and you can optionally bring in your contacts from your phone. But if you have a file, have us do it for you. You'll see a little button that's click on that, let us import your file, send it to us, and we will do it for you. So give us some notes and we'll go from there. So when it comes to signing up, you can sign up on July 1. So we're really close, coming up here in about a week. You can go to the exptoolkit.com CRM of choice website. Now, if you're going to prepare between now and then, the thing I recommend is just get your contact spreadsheets in order. So export out of your other CRM. If you have a spreadsheet you've been keeping track of for years, maybe it's your holiday card list, whatever it is, get those spreadsheets ready because you can get them over to us and we can help get them imported. All right. So thank you very much for spending the last hour with me, just looking in my channel here to see if there's anything from our team. I think we are good. So with that, I think I'm going to wrap up for today. We'll see you again on